The proposed siting processes today would only apply, of course, to England and Wales. Whilst our ambition is for a whole British nuclear revolution, sadly, at this time, the current Scottish Government remains committed to blocking any planning application for new nuclear in Scotland under its devolved consenting regime. However, we continue to invite the Scottish Government to join with us and over 30 other countries around the world to allow for reinvestment and renewal of our nuclear capacity across the whole UK in order to meet our net zero and energy security objectives. Our intention is to designate the NPS in 2025, subject, of course, to parliamentary processes. For the first time, we intend for the NPS to provide a planning policy framework for SMRs and AMRs, as well as the traditional gigawatt-scale power stations. To achieve the UK's nuclear ambitions, the Government believes that additional sites will be required for new nuclear projects, along with greater ongoing flexibility in the site selection processes to enable new technologies. In the siting consultation, we are excited to introduce a positive shift in approach. The new NPS will empower nuclear developers to identify potential sites for development, fostering developers' innovation and indeed flexibility. While the existing designated nuclear sites may possess many inherent positive attributes, potentially making them a consideration for future development, this change allows for exploration of diverse new locations. By entrusting developers with this responsibility, we aim to streamline the process, encourage creative solutions, and enhance the overall efficiency of nuclear development, ultimately contributing to the growth and sustainability of this industry. We propose that siting of new nuclear would continue to be constrained by robust criteria that determine where development can occur, and developers would be empowered to undertake initial screening of sites based on the criteria with advice from regulators and statutory industries. It is our intention, of course, that safety will remain paramount, with the high safety, security and environmental standards overseen by the independent nuclear regulator and environment protection agencies. Public consultation and community engagement would also remain an essential part of the process. Madam Deputy Speaker, this package, this vision, this announcement represents the biggest investment in nuclear in the UK for over 70 years, ensuring our energy security, keeping us on the path to net zero and delivering the jobs of the future, our nuclear future. And I commend this statement to the House.
SNP spokesperson Richard Thomson.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. And could I thank the Minister for advance sight of his statement. And he's absolutely right in one respect. The Scottish Government does not support the development of new nuclear power in Scotland. Now, the reasons for that are simple, because besides the environmental concerns, the economics do not lie. Nuclear power is slow to deliver, it's horrendously expensive, and the history in recent years under Labour governments and Conservative governments has been simply to allow private companies to privatise the profits, while the risks are socialised for the taxpayers. Now, we all know on this side of the House, the SNP benches at least, that Scotland's comparative advantages lie in hydrogen and in renewables, both areas where the Scottish Government's ambitions appear to considerably outstrip those of the current UK Government. So could I ask the Minister two simple questions? Despite his disagreement with the stance of the Scottish Government over planning on nuclear, will he and his Government respect the devolution settlement as it stands on that? And secondly, will he give an undertaking, as none of his predecessors over the last half-century or more have been able to do, that when the multi-billion-pound decommissioning liabilities become live for any new generation of nuclear power stations, the liabilities for that will lie squarely on the private companies that have benefited in the decades before and won't fall on the taxpayer?
Minister.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. The Scottish National Party, like almost every nationalist party in the world, has a misplaced belief in its own exceptionalism, and nowhere is that more true than in nuclear. When you look across the world, we saw at COP28 over 30 countries coming together to pledge to increase civil nuclear capacity around the world by a third. So clear and obvious is it that not just in terms of ensuring our energy security moving forward, not just in terms of benefiting communities locally and driving forward our economy, but reaching those net zero goals and ensuring that we have a cleaner energy baseload moving forward, nuclear is absolutely essential. Indeed, there is no net zero without nuclear. So it does pain me, especially as a Scottish Member of Parliament, that the Scottish Government's wrong-headed position on this remains extant. I would very much welcome a change of direction within the Scottish Government, and would urge the Scottish National Party to look around the world at the countries that are joining with us in this nuclear renaissance and revival, and think of the huge benefits that could be brought to Scotland with its proud history in nuclear, going back many, many decades, at what might be brought to Scotland if they were to join with us on this journey. Of course, we respect the devolution settlement. Of course, we respect the devolution settlement. We are absolutely committed to maintaining that. What I would just urge is a change of direction, a change of approach, and changing the position of the Scottish Government so that the Scottish people, the Scottish economy, and indeed the Scottish environment can benefit from future investment in nuclear that will be felt around England, Wales, and indeed in so many other countries around the world.
Deidre.
A Nova Innovation in my constituency recently announced the wonderful news it had won €20 million of investment from the EU to lead a pan-European consortium to create the Seastar Tidal Energy Farm in Orkney, the largest tidal energy site in the world. Why does the UK government continue to largely ignore this safe, lower-cost, reliable form of energy when, as Greenpeace points out, the energy industry itself knows the economic case for slow, expensive nuclear just doesn't add up?
Minister.
Madam Deputy Speaker, the Tidal actually received money for the very first time through the Contracts for Difference process, the last auction round. This government is investing in tidal technology. It's investing in wind, it's investing in solar, it's investing in hydrogen, it's investing in CCUS, it's investing in continued exploration for oil and gas that party opposes, and it's investing in nuclear. Of course, it's fantastic news for her constituents and the businesses around Scotland that are winning contracts to invest in renewables. But what, to their shame, Scottish National Party representatives in this place never mention is the hundreds of thousands of jobs in Scotland that depend on the nuclear industry, the manufacturing, the construction, the education, and indeed the fantastic work going on right now in Torness, the only generating power station in Scotland, currently delivering power to 1 million homes. Maybe the Scottish National Party can come to this chamber and explain, when that power station closes down, as sadly it will inevitably one day do, how they're going to replace the power generated for Scottish homes under their plans to completely ignore the safe, secure and clean option for secure future energy moving forward.
We look for technologies that can help save the world. The world needs clean, reliable, renewable energy urgently to fight climate change. That's a perfect description for marine energy. Marine technologies are among that group of technologies, new technologies and clean technologies, that are recognised as being absolutely essential to help us deliver in the fight against climate change.
Scotland is leading the way. It's providing the experience, the infrastructure, the policy environment, and importantly the technology companies ready to commercialise.
The ocean is the world's biggest battery, brimful of energy, and a big part of that battery sits off the Scottish coast. It's accessible to the Scottish marine energy companies.
The industry's at a really exciting tipping point. We've seen the first prototype technologies tested and proven, and they're now racking up gigawatt hours of electricity production. So the next stage really is to build out arrays and harness that global market opportunity.
As the sector moves towards commercialisation, both wave and tidal developers are recognising that Scotland is the place to test their technology, both with the policies, the supply chain support and the test infrastructure.
The whole marine energy sector in Scotland, including the companies, the institutions, the government, the supply chain, is collaborating to produce an investable commercial proposition. The time's right to take your first look, or a fresh look, at the marine energy sector. Scotland's marine energy businesses are ready to take the next step. They're ready to commercialise.